8:37 on WMAL. Brian Neiman, Tori Clark with you. The president out campaigning yesterday, pushing the Buffett rule.
Here in America, we look out for one another. Here in America, we help each other get ahead. Here in America, we have a sense of common purpose.
Class warfare is on. 1-888-639-625. Everett and Arlington, line 9. You're on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Good morning. I think they're both right. I think the part that the president's forgetting to mention is that he wants the government to take care of our generosity for us. I think the American people are incredibly generous, not only to each other, but to the rest of the world.
You're right. The president, his comments yesterday are accurate. It's just a question of how that goes about. Do we allow the private sector, let the private citizens do this on their own, or is it the job of the government to hand it out and decide where the money goes? And that's the big difference.
Absolutely right. Who do you want helping you? Your neighbor, your family member, yourself, or the government? Steve
in Vienna, you're on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL. Hey, Steve.
Hey, good morning, Brian. Good morning, Tori.
Good morning.
I think it's absolutely just despicable the way that the president is tearing our country apart from the top. And, I think about the title of that book, The Audacity of Hope, right? How audacious is it to run on a platform of hope and change and then govern on fear and crisis and then try and get reelected on divide and conquer? And I have a retort for the president, okay? Here in America, we used to value individual achievement. Here in America, we used to hold out hope of rising above our individual station. Here in America, we used to put the success of other people out as a shining star of what could be possible. We did not vilify them and try and tear each other apart based on what we have and what we don't.
Steve, I think you ought to hit the campaign trail. I think it's really, really articulate and smart and passionate. I think it's terrific.
I think that's the way a lot of people feel, but Steve said it very well. Teresa in Fairfax, you're on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL. Hey, Teresa.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm confused as to why we think that his record is going to matter when his lack of experience was clearly irrelevant in the first election.
Well, I think it is different this time around. I mean, when you're an incumbent, you do have to run on a record. When you're running for the first time, people say, well, he sounds pretty good. Maybe we'll take a chance on this. And it's different than what we're used to. I like what he is saying. Maybe things will be different. Now he has a record to run on. Now you can say, well, how were the last 4 years for you? I mean, they'll say, are you better off 4 years ago or now than you were 4 years ago?
Right.
Then that will definitely play a role in people's minds. I mean, you have to look at it and say, have you improved? Have you financially? And as Scott Rasmussen said, this is the most important thing. Do people feel that they're better off financially now than they were when the president took over in 2009?
I was surprised the Obama campaign has telegraphed so clearly how they think this campaign is going to go. As soon as Santorum announces he's out, Romney's the nominee, even before yesterday, they were saying, look, this election, we're going to make sure people know about Romney and Bain. We're going to make sure that people know about Romney, his connections to big energy, those kinds of things. They weren't talking about, we're going to make sure people know of the president's accomplishments. That's not what they're talking about.
Well, Romney, you can substitute Warren Buffett for Romney. You can substitute the 1% for Romney for the president. And that's what the campaign will be about. It'll be, hey, Mitt Romney is not one of us. Mitt Romney is one of the rich. Mitt Romney is corporate America. Danielle in D.C., you're on with Brian and Tori Clarkson for Wilson this morning.
Hi. It makes nice rhetoric for him, but he forgets that he's running on a record. And he had 4 years to raise taxes and make the rich a little bit poorer. He didn't do it. Why? Because it doesn't work. He has 2 years of the Congress and the Senate for him to do it, and he couldn't put it in practice. Why should we believe that he's going to do it next time? He didn't take care of us. He didn't take care of me. He didn't take care of my children. My children now have $40,000 more in debt than they had when he started in government. So who can believe that he will take care of us?
Well, he may try. That's the thing. I think people are worried about that the taxes will go up. But it's a good point. They could have raised taxes. I mean, last time I checked, they did control the House and the Senate.
People always, it's amazing. I think I've actually seen polls on this, how few people know that he actually had the Congress with him when he first started.
And then, by the way, there was a reason why he didn't want to do it. Remember, he said, hey, the economy is not the right time for the economy to raise taxes. Are we to the point where we're okay to raise taxes? They have the biggest tax increase that we've ever seen on January 1st, 2013.
Right.
I guess it's okay now to raise taxes, but because he said now wasn't the time. Henry in Severna Park, you're on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Good morning, Brian and Tori. How are you this morning?
Well,
Good, thank you.
Hey, I think everybody's missing the point on this tax the rich thing, because everybody knows that the taxing the rich that Obama's talking about is really taxing the business people. Now, business people have fixed costs and variable costs. The fixed costs are taxes. So when you raise taxes on the rich, they look at their costs and they say, well, we have to make 15% profit in order to be viable, so we have to raise all our prices so that we can still maintain our margin, and everybody ends up paying the taxes, not just the rich.
Right. Well, listen, we don't have a tax problem in this country. We do have a spending problem in this country. And the only way you can argue it is that if you raise taxes on individuals or businesses, you're not going to do anything to help create jobs. Is it possible? There's some, on the left would say, well, you're going to at least, control the deficits and the deficits won't be as bad. That may be true. But are you going to create jobs out of it? Probably not. And there's a good possibility you're actually going to retard the job growth. You're actually going to hurt jobs more than help create jobs. And to me, that's what it's all about. People want work. People do want work. They want jobs. They want to feel like they control their own destiny and that they can get a better lifestyle on their own, not without help of government.
Some confidence those jobs will be around for a while.
More of your calls coming up. 1-888-639-60.